Global TV News Express, Independent National Electoral Commission rallies stakeholders, assures tight security ahead of Saturday Federal Capital Territory polls. In business, Nigeria's World Bank debt hits $18.7 billion. On the foreign scene, United Nations chief warns technology leaders of artificial intelligence risk. And in sport, FIFA president says 2026 World Cup match tickets sold out amid soaring demand. Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has intensified engagement with key stakeholders ahead of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections scheduled for Saturday, 21st of February. The Commission says the consultations are aimed at ensuring a smooth, credible and hitch-free electoral process across the 6 area councils of the FCT. Anita Patrick reports.
At a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, INEC Chairman Professor Josh Amopitan reassured residents of the Commission's preparedness, highlighting the deployment of sensitive and non-sensitive materials to registration area centers. He called on the political parties participating in this Saturday's FCT Area Council election to keep to the Thursday campaign deadline. Professor Amopitan urged political parties, candidates and supporters to play by the rules, warning against vote buying, violence, and the spread of misinformation. He emphasized that security agencies have been fully mobilized to safeguard voters and electoral officials before, during, and after the polls.
What remains, therefore, is part of this activity we are doing to engage the stakeholders and appeal to them to play their own parts, to play their own role in ensuring that the election is peaceful, credible, and that the outcome is widely acceptable.
The FCT Commissioner of Police, Mila Dantawaye, said all security agencies have been adequately prepared to ensure the safety of lives and property before, during, and after the area council polls. He said the security agencies have identified all black spots, while adequate personnel have been mobilized to address any emergency.
We have further gone around collectively as heads of security agencies within FCT to the very far locations where you may be afraid of. So we are taking note of places we consider to be black spots, especially for election.
Some candidates for the election spoke with the media on the side, calling for the election results to be transmitted electronically for transparency and credibility.
When election comes like this, they will say call for stakeholder meetings and make their promises. At the end of the day, they will fail. But this is a new leadership. I will hope there will be changes.
Other stakeholders, including Inter-Party Advisory Council, National Orientation Agency, civil society organizations, and the traditional institution, appealed to INEC to keep to the Constitution and Electoral Act in the conduct of the polls. Anita Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
In a related development, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor George Amopitan, has promised to reward electoral officers who deliver in Saturday's Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections. Again, Anita Patrick reports that the INEC boss also expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness across key councils.
In a final push ahead of the February 21st Area Council elections, INEC Chairman Professor Josh Amopitan toured Kuje, Gwagwalada and Buhari to assess readiness on the ground. Addressing officials after inspecting facilities and election materials, Professor Amopitan expressed confidence in the level of preparation, saying reports from the councils show impressive readiness figures, with some recording up to 100% preparedness. He disclosed that non-sensitive materials have been badged and verified, adding that there will be no excuse for lapses on election day.
So I'm sure you are all abreast with the provisions of those laws, especially those of us that will have a role to play during the election. Let us understand our duties, what is expected of us, and let us perform our duty faithfully and dedicatedly.
Professor Amopitan promised to reward electoral officers who conduct free, fair and credible polls, but warned that any official who violates the Electoral Act or constitutional provisions will face sanctions. The chairman cautioned that failure of officials to arrive early at polling units could erode public confidence in the process.
One of the measures to determine whether election is successful on that day is to see that every polling unit is open to the public, to the voters, by 8 o'clock, so that accreditation and voting can commence at least that. If you are going to achieve this, it means that you have to activate the RAP.
Electoral officers in Kuje, Gwagwalada and Buhari assured the commission of their readiness, confirming that logistics and administrative arrangements have been concluded. The INEC chairman was accompanied on the inspection tour by national commissioners and senior officials of the commission. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Progressive Congress has distributed election materials to 276 council wards of the state for the party's ward and local council congresses in Benue State, marking the commencement of the congresses in the state. Felicity Ndere reports.
The All Progressive Congress, APC in Benue State, has commenced its ward congresses across the 276 council wards, assuring a seamless process. Chairman of the All Progressive Congress Ward and Local Government Congress Benue State conducted the disbursement exercise and addressed local council chairmen and returning officers.
Yesterday we conducted a screening successfully and we handed over this form for Congress successfully without any problem. I'm thinking good thing will come out.
He emphasized that the success of the exercise will further reconciliation even at grassroots and strengthening the APC for victory.
Everybody with his registration, APC registration membership card and other things, everything, all criteria, they pull all the criteria and they participate fully, actively in the Congress. Thank you very much. I was sent from national headquarters to witness this Congress, and this Congress was successful. There's no any issue.
Chairman of the APC in Benue State, Benjamin Omale, and the State Organizing Secretary, James Ongoga, urged party supporters to be orderly and ensure that they comply with the regulations of the National Working Committee of the ruling party.
The security is guaranteed. The Excellency Executive Governor of Benue State ensure that adequate security is provided to ensure hitch-free operation throughout the whole 23 local government. Yeah, this has to go in line with the NWC guidelines.
The national electoral committees from our national headquarters who are in the state to conduct the ward and local government congresses that will usher in new executives at the ward and the local government in our party. And the committees were 4 in number. One was the screening committee, another the screening appeal committee. We have the ward and local government congress committee, and then an appeal committee that is going to look into any issue that will arise from the ward congresses that we are conducting today.
This, they say, is a pivotal for APC's grassroots democracy, emphasizing that the congresses are not just an exercise, but they are the very heartbeat of a collective aspiration, forming the foundation which will continue to deliver the dividends of democracy to every Benue citizens. At the APC Secretariat in Makudi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
As Muslims begins this year's Ramadan fast, the immediate past president of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, has distributed food items to residents across the 17 local government areas of Yobe State. Global Television correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the gesture is aimed at supporting vulnerable families during the holy month of Ramadan.
17,000 bags of assorted food items laid out, ready for distribution to Muslim faithfuls across Yobe State. The initiative by Senator Ahmad Lawan is part of efforts to complement both federal and state government intervention in easing hardship during the Ramadan period.
We are here to distribute the Ramadan items from Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan. As you all aware, Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan has been representing us in the Senate since 2007 to date. Throughout this period, whenever an event occurs in his constituency, whether joyful or sorrowful, he will be present in person or send a delegation or message.
Handing over the items on behalf of the Senator, the National Secretary of the Tinubu House-to-House Network, Bashir Sharif, explained that each local government area will receive 1,000 bags of rice for onward distribution to residents.
More than 17,000. So if you estimate the 17,000, at least each local government has 1,000 beneficiaries. We are calling our politicians and businessmen to copy this initiative of Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan.
Beneficiaries who expressed appreciation for the support described Senator Lawan as a leader who has remained committed to assisting poor and vulnerable not only in Yobe State but across the country.
Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan is a gentleman and kind. Every year he used to distribute Ramadan package to people, irrespective of religion or gender discrimination and everything. As you can see, we are females, we are included. You can see, you can bear witness. So it's not only males that will benefit with this distribution. We also call upon in order to come and participate in this kind of program whenever he is doing.
We are here to make a distribution of Ramadan package given by our political mentor or our political godfather, that is distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, as all the time.
Meanwhile, organizers say the Ramadan food distribution is only one of several planned interventions, as Tinubu House-to-House Network assures that more support will reach Muslim faithfuls nationwide during the Ramadan fasting period. Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
Christians in Imo State have joined believers worldwide to observe the Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the Lantern session with prayers and reflection at the Government House Chapel in Owerri. Government officials and worshippers gathered for a solemn service attended by the state governor. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
The Government House Chapel Owerri was filled with worshippers who assembled for the Ash Wednesday service, which ushers Christians into 40 days period of Lent. Participating in the Holy Mass, Governor Hope Uzodinma took the first lesson from the second letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians and joined the congregation in praying for peace and continual progress in the state.
So that in Him we might become the righteousness of God, walking together with Him. Then we entreat you not to accept the grace of God in vain. For He says, at the acceptable time, I've listened to you and helped you on the day of salvation. Behold, now is the acceptable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation.
Delivering the homily, Government House Chaplain, Reverend Father Gilbert Alaribe, called on Christians to embrace repentance, humility, and spiritual renewal, describing Lent as a season for sober reflection and renewed commitment to God and service to humanity.
The first lesson can be taken from the words the priest will say to us while signing us with the ashes. The priest says, remember man, remember woman, you are dust, and unto dust you shall return. And the Lenten season invites us So remember this truth about your life and my life. Even in the midst of all our plans, all our aspirations, all our efforts to establish ourselves in our world.
The service featured the traditional imposition of ashes on worshippers, symbolizing repentance and reminding believers of life's transient nature. The observer set the tone for weeks of spiritual reflection and renewed faith among Christians across the state. From Government House, Owerri, I'm Marachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has confirmed the rearrest of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai shortly after he was granted administrative bail by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). ICPC spokesperson John Ode said El-Rufai is in the Commission's custody in connection with ongoing investigation following his initial detention by the EFCC over corruption allegations. The development comes amid separate cybercrime charges reportedly filed against him by the State Security Service at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, has inaugurated a high-level committee to oversee the equipping and operationalization of multi-purpose laboratories in selected public tertiary institutions across Nigeria. The inauguration ceremony took place at TETFund Boardroom in Abuja. Education correspondent Priscilla Obasi now reports.
The committee is expected to develop a comprehensive technical roadmap for the procurement and installation of state-of-the-art laboratory equipment aimed at strengthening research infrastructure in Nigeria's tertiary education system. The initiative follows a recent allocation of 13 billion naira by the federal government, specifically earmarked for the establishment and furnishing of central multipurpose laboratories. At the inauguration, Executive Secretary of TETFund, Sonny Echono, said the project is designed to address long-standing gaps in research facilities and reduce the need for Nigerian scholars to travel abroad for specialized laboratory analysis.
For the records, the committee that recommended the establishment of the centers actually have a list of equipment recommended. But as we know, we are living in times of rapid obsolescence, and the technology field is very disruptive. There are also changes. Technology is impacting teaching and learning and research in more ways than we can imagine. So there will be need for a constant review.
Echono also noted that beyond infrastructure provision, the committee has been mandated to develop a sustainability framework for training laboratory technicians and ensuring proper maintenance of the equipment. The committee includes representatives from the National Universities Commission, National Board for Technical Education, the Federal Ministry of Education, as well as scholars and industry experts. Members of the committee have been tasked with conducting needs assessment across institutions, ensuring procurement meets international standards, and guiding distribution of equipment based on research specializations such as biotechnology, mechatronics, and renewable energy. The inauguration marks another step in ongoing efforts by TETFund and the federal government to modernize Nigeria's research ecosystem and strengthen the capacity of tertiary institutions to produce solutions that address national development challenges. Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News.
The federal government has ordered the closure of a mining site in Kampani Zurak Wase local government area of Plateau State, following a gas leak that killed at least 37 miners. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, directed the shutdown of the mine and dispatched a team of investigators to determine the immediate and remote causes of the incident. Plateau State authorities say dozens were hospitalized, while government has urged residents to remain calm as investigations continue. The Katsina State Police Command says it has failed a bandits' attack in Dandume local government area, killing 2 suspected bandits during a gun battle. Police spokesperson DSP Abubakar Sadiq confirmed that the attackers had fatally shot a 30-year-old woman before security operatives arrived at the scene. The Commissioner of Police, Bello Shehu, commended the officers for their bravery and reaffirmed the command's commitment to safeguarding lives and properties. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. News Express continues after this weather forecast with business, foreign, and sports stories after the break. Please stay with us.
Step outside and you feel it instantly. The air is dusty. The Federal Capital Territory and most parts of the country are currently under the noticeable dust haze. And up north, the concentration is even heavier. So heading into Thursday, the story doesn't change. The dust stay with us. We're expecting thick dust haze across the northern cities, especially in Borno, Adamawa, Jigawa, Gombe, Bauchi, Katsina, and Kano State. Visibility could drop to 1,000 meters or even less. That means hazy skies, reduced visibility, and extra caution for flight operators to check the NIMET e-flight folder portal for proper planning. And also anyone spending long hours outdoors. Across the north-central region, moderate dust haze would dominate, while inland southern cities will still experience slight hazy conditions. But that's not all. By afternoon, we're watching out for thunderstorms over part of Ondo, Ogunle, Bayelsa, Cross River, and River State. So while some areas battle dust, others could hear rumbles of thunder later in the day. It's a mix of haze and storms. So stay alert, drive carefully, and keep those umbrellas close if you are in the south. I am Akani Samarda.
Welcome back. Now to the world of business. Niger's debt to the World Bank's International Development Association has risen to $18.7 billion as of December 31st, 2025, marking an 11.3% year-on-year increase. The latest financial data shows Nigeria is now the third largest borrower in the IDA portfolio, behind Bangladesh and Pakistan. Amid tightening fiscal condition and growing reliance on concessional financing, the top 10 borrowing countries account for about 60% of the association's total exposure, underscoring concentrated lending risk. To the foreign scene now, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has warned technology leaders of the risk of artificial intelligence, saying its future cannot be left to the whims of a few billionaires. Speaking at the Global Artificial Intelligence Summit in India, Guterres called on tech tycoons to support a $3 billion global fund to ensure open and fast access to the fast advancing technology for all. Zara Nasir reports.
Plater said it was also a time when politicians boast of cutting aid, as he unveiled a streamlined plan to raise at least $23 billion to help 87 million people in the world's most dangerous places, such as Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, Haiti, and Myanmar. He said the United Nations would like to ultimately raise $33 billion to help 135 million people in 2026, but is painfully aware that its overall goal may be difficult to reach, given U.S. President Donald Trump's slashing of foreign aid.
Last year, despite the challenges I've described, the humanitarian community reached 98 million people with our support. And I take heart from the conviction that so many leaders have, including the US President, that 2026 will be a year of peacemaking, a year that can create a once-in-a-generation opportunity to do something extraordinary. The number for you. What do we need in order to save 87 million lives next year? We need protection for our work. We need that energetic peacemaking, and we need $23 billion.
Fletcher said the highly prioritized appeal was based on excruciating life and death choices, adding that he hoped Washington will see the choices made and the reforms undertaken to improve aid efficiency and choose to renew that commitment to help. He added that the UN is simply demanding that the world spend less on defense and more on humanitarian support.
It's therefore based on excruciating life and death choices. Beyond that, of course, there is so much more that we must and should be doing. And as I say, we're asking for only just over 1% of what the world is spending on arms and defense right now. So I'm not asking people to choose between a hospital in Brooklyn and a hospital in Kandahar.
In 2025, the UN's appeal for more than $45 billion was only funded to the $12 billion mark, the lowest in a decade. The world body said that only allow it to help 98 million people, 25 million fewer than the year before. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global Television News.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino says all 104 matches of the 2026 World Cup are effectively sold out, citing over 508 million ticket requests for about 7 million available seats. Speaking from Florida, Infantino noted that the demand from more than 200 countries underscores unprecedented global interest in the expanded 48-team tournament to be hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. He projected revenues of at least $11 billion and a significant economic impact, adding that all proceeds will be reinvested in football development worldwide. As Global Television News Express comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has intensified engagement with key stakeholders ahead of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections scheduled for Saturday, the 21st of February. And in business, Nigeria's debt to the World Bank's International Development Association has risen to $18.7 billion as of December 31st, 2025, marking an 11.3% year-on-year increase. On the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has warned technology leaders of the risk of artificial intelligence, saying its future cannot be left to the whims of a few billionaires. And on sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino says all 104 matches of the 2026 World Cup are effectively sold out, citing over 508 million ticket requests for about 7 million available seats. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly do follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.